Welcome to Super Recaps. Today I'll show you Self/Less, a 2015 action, mystery, and sci-fi film. Watch out for spoilers ahead. Damien Hale, a successful businessman and billionaire, gaze out his skyscraper apartment's wide glass windows. A nurse is getting ready to leave behind him and is gathering her supplies. The billionaire is dying of cancer and only has 6 months to live. Later, at lunch with his best buddy Martin, they talk about his sickness and how he has yet to tell his daughter Claire about it. Damien and Claire had a strained connection because he was a workaholic as a child and didn't spend enough time with her. Martin believes that if Claire is aware of his sickness, she would forgive him and they will swiftly rebuild their relationship. Before Damien and Martin depart, the billionaire inquires of his pal whether he has heard of shedding, to which Martin replies that he has not. Damien tries to phone Claire while in his limousine, but she does not answer. He then takes out a business card from Phoenix Biogenetic and recalls his conversation with the company's owner, Dr. Albright. The doctor's main goal in life is to provide a means for humanity's brightest minds to live longer and achieve their full potential. He's developed a technology that allows consciousness to be transferred from one body to another, a procedure known as shedding. The corporation sells new bodies that have been genetically altered to perfection to anyone willing to pay a high price. Damien recalls asking the doctor why their service was still considered unlawful. Albright claimed he asked the incorrect questions. Do you feel immortal? Might be a better question. Damien visits Claire, who runs a non-profit organization, after going over these memories and debating whether or not to accept Albright's offer. He gives his daughter money but does not tell her about the disease because he wants to make things right before he dies. She refuses to accept the money because she believes he is using her and expecting his checkbook to cure all of her problem. Later, Damien is at his office, disappointed with how Claire's situation turned out. He continues to explore shedding in Phoenix Biogenic, desperate for a second chance at life. He learns that Dr. Jensen created the treatment and views a video of him describing the philosophy behind it. Jensen intended to separate the mind from the body so that humans may survive when their bodies died. However, while researching shedding, Damien starts coughing blood and passes out. He then wakes up with breathing tubes attached to his nose. Therefore, he decides to contact Albright and schedule the procedure. Albright explains that after the swap, he will be unable to contact anyone and that his previous existence would cease to exist. He also tells him to travel to New Orleans and stage his death. Damien is on a plane the next day and phones Martin to ask if they can meet for lunch in New Orleans. He visits a New Orleans cemetery and buries a mystery box near one grave before seeing him. Damien imitates a seizure and collapses on the floor at lunch with Martin. Martin is terrified and dials 911. Instead of taking the billionaire to the hospital, the ambulance transports him to Phoenix Biogenic. They swiftly begin the treatment by injecting Damien with a needle and placing him fully conscious in the machine. The bright lights and loud noises make him feel even more uneasy, but his perception is swiftly transferred to his new young body. Damien turns around to view his previous body, which is unconscious and dead. He vomits, shocked and appalled. Albright informs him it'll take a few days to adjust, and Damien begins to hallucinate. Objects begin to distort, and he sees a picture of a horse-filled field. The doctor then adds sarcastically that death has consequences. Damien must now remain in the hospital and undergo training in physical therapy in order to adjust to his new body. Damien has to study a phony biography and use a new name of Edward Kidner because he can't return to his old life. He begins to like his new gorgeous self after a brief period of perplexity and despair, but the hallucinations and headaches persist. Albright explains that his mind hasn't adjusted to the new brain structure yet, so he provides him with medicines to assist him to adjust. Damien may die or suffer from terrible migraines and hallucinations if he does not take them. He must also remain in New Orleans to meet with Albright on a daily basis and receive his weekly medication. Damien is dropped off at a vast, magnificent residence in New Orleans after completing his training. Damien, aka Edward, adjusts swiftly and, before long, begins playing basketball in the neighborhood. Anton, who lives next door, approaches him and offers to take him out. They go to a bar the following night, and every woman is staring at Damien, who has grown into a lovely young man. People believe he's strange since he's still not used to answering queries about his life, career, and age. Regardless, Damien settles into his new schedule considerably faster than anticipated. He begins to hang out with his buddies, play basketball, sleep with attractive ladies, take his drugs, goes partying, and simply enjoy life. After a while, this new routine no longer fulfills him, especially because he is unable to visit his daughter. He forgets to take his prescription one day, is distracted by his melancholy, and soon begins hallucinating. He gets glimpses of a little village with a pumpkin tower, as well as flashbacks of the army. In his hallucinations, he also sees a mother in the countryside with her sick small girl. Damien believes the hallucination is a recollection since it is so vivid and forceful. Dr. Albright insists that what he saw was merely a blend of old memories and current emotions when he later relates what he saw. The doctor gives him tickets to Hawaii and boosts his prescription to divert his attention away from his illness. He also claims that he saw a sick little child because he misses Claire and that the Latina woman from his hallucination was most likely a one-night stand from his adolescence. But because Damien did not inform Albright that the woman was Latina, he immediately suspects the doctor. He realizes something is awry and goes online to look for the Pumpkin Tower. It turns out that a similar tower exists in a little hamlet near St. Louis. In search of answers, he decides to deceive Albright and travel to St. Louis rather than Hawaii. He goes to the graveyard and digs out the box he buried before leaving. He removes some of the money, paperwork, and credit cards from it and proceeds to the airport. Damien is pursued by one of Albright's men, but he swiftly flees his sight and catches a flight to the little village. He arrives at the Pumpkin Tower he spotted a few hours ago. He finds a house near the tower and knocks on the door, but no one is there. Damien chooses to explore the property, sensing there's more to it than meets the eye, and finds medical bills and bits of a respirator machine inside. Most notably, he sees a picture of Madeline and Anna, the mother and daughter, in his hallucinations. In one of the photographs, he also recognizes his new self. The body turned out to be an actual human with a life, not a genetically modified one. Madeline returns home and points a gun at him from behind while he is dealing with the unpleasant truth. He instructs her to relax and turns gently toward her as she collapses on the floor, crying in disbelief since she assumed her husband was dead. While Damien tries explaining, Albright's men break into the house, knock Madeline out, and attempt to take Damien. Anton, who was a member of the Phoenix Biogenetics and was spying on Damien the entire time, comes into the house and confronts Damien. Anton explains how Madeline's husband, Mark, decided to sacrifice his body in exchange for money to finance his daughter's treatment. Damien is taken aback and confronts Anton, explaining why Albright is a serial killer. The spy then gives him a chilly metaphor, telling him that it's natural for him to be unhappy because he just bought a new car and discovered it only had a few miles on it. Also, despite his rage, returning to the house is pointless because they will assassinate Madeline and destroy her property. Fortunately for Madeline, the millionaire has a strong moral compass, so he decides to deceive Albright's men and save her. He walks to the bathroom and attacks one of the men there while pretending to take his meds. Damien kills a few of Albright's men with the help of Mark's army instincts and goes to wake up Madeline, but he loses his tablets during the fight. Anton and the others attempt to set fire to the house, but Madeline and Damien sneak beneath the platform and begin shooting them in the legs. Soon after, Damien murders everyone and flees with Mark's wife to the car. Damien deceives Anna by pretending to be her husband and telling her that he promised to do some dirty labor in exchange for Anna's medicine. They both leave to save Anna, who is in school. Anna also believes Damien is her father and rushes up to him, hugging him and yelling that she knew he wasn't dead. Later, the three of them book a motel room and Damien uses a computer to research Phoenix Biogenic. He discovers that Albright was a Jensen student, as well as the address of Dr. Jensen's wife, Phyllis. He gets a migraine and starts hallucinating again because he doesn't have any medicine. Damien understands what to do when Madeline becomes concerned. He decides to pay Phyllis a visit and learn more about the business. The next morning, they get in the car and drive to Jensen's wife's nursery house. He pretends as a student conducting a study on Jensen's work and requests that Phyllis hand him the doctor's old files and paperwork. Because the elderly woman has Alzheimer's, she trusts Damien and begins to tell him everything she knows. When he discovers that Albright pays her weekly visits, he realizes that Jensen is posing as Albright. He instructs Phyllis to contact Albright and extend an invitation. When the doctor arrives, Damien threatens him with a revolver and demands more medications. Albright, on the other hand, tells him the truth. Mark vanishes along with his combat skills and army training when he consumes additional tablets. Damien's mind will fade away without the medications, and Mark will take control of his body. Damien then kidnaps Albright and demands that he transport him to the laboratory. Albright's men attack and disarm him as they begin marching down the corridor. Madeline appears and hits one of Albright's men as they are transporting Damien to a dark vehicle. It is revealed to be Anton in a different body. Because this is not his first shedding, he can quickly adjust to new vessels. Damien fights off the other guard, but Anton warns Madeline that Damien is hiding something and tells her to ask him about their daughter's birthday before the young couple flees. When Damien and Madeline get in their car, their worried mother tells them to pull over as soon as the coast is clear. She has to clear something up, especially after her encounter with Anton. She inquires about Anna's birthday and other details concerning their relationship with Damien. When he runs out of answers, he begins to narrate the situation, while Anna watches from the car, unsure if everything is okay. Madeline becomes frustrated and enraged as a result of Damien's manipulation and the fact that she must disappoint her daughter. She doesn't want to tell Anna that the man who resembles her father is actually a stranger. Albright's men also want to kill her, so she has to collaborate with Damien to survive, even if she doesn't like or trust him. The billionaire then devises a scheme to enlist Martin's assistance and secure Anna and Madeline's safety. Damien persuades Martin of the truth when they get to his friend's mansion by explaining things that only the two of them are aware of. Martin agrees to assist and plans their escape. Later, Damien tries to come up with a way to explain to Anna that she will never see her father again. However, he begins to bond with her, creating fresh and beautiful father-daughter memories. He teaches her to swim, and the two of them have a lovely time together, while Madeline happily watches from the window. She is attracted to Damien because he is in her husband's body, so she wants to listen to his heart and kisses him. Damien is uneasy, so he begins telling her about his past in order to divert her focus away from Mark. He discusses his connection with Claire and the two have an open and honest chat. But then Damien realizes that all of the house's mirrors are covered. He is aware that Martin's son died 2 years ago and suspects that something is wrong. He sprints to find Anna, who is playing with a small boy in a huge children's room. Damien quickly realizes that Martin also brought his child to Phoenix Biogenetic, where he was given a new body. It turns out Martin told Albright about them, and the killers are waiting for them outside. However, Damien confronts his friend, explaining that the young kid's body was not manufactured in a lab. It was a real person and the child of someone else. Martin is startled and horrified, so he decides to assist them for real this time. While Damien drives away in a car as bait, he walks Madeline and Anna to a secure area via a forest. Damien gets into a car chase with Albright's men shortly after, who are attempting to catch and murder him. They all get into a major car accident after shooting and ramming their cars into each other. Damien exits the vehicle and double-checks that everyone is dead before heading to the diner to meet Madeline and Martin. Martin, though, is the only one who shows up. He tells Damien how Madeline and Anna got ahead of him in the jungle. They sought assistance from a strange car on the road. They had no idea it was Albright's men who had kidnapped them, and Martin couldn't help because they were so far away. Damien also finds that Martin inserted the Phoenix Biogenetic business card to assist him. Most crucially, he learns that Martin has cracked the Albright pill recipe and can create them from scratch. But Damien begins to doubt if he should keep taking the drugs, especially since he is murdering Mark this way. He defers that decision for now, as his top concern is to save Madeline and Anna. The idea is to abstain from taking the pill for 12 hours in order to tap into Mark's memories to learn more about the lab's location. During his withdrawal, he notices a storage facility for Mardi Gras floats near Albright's lab and travels to New Orleans to locate it. He travels to New Orleans the next day and discovers the lab next to a Mardi Gras storage facility. Without anyone noticing, he breaks in and attacks a couple of guards. However, he notices 2 new bodies in the room where the machine transfers consciousness. Albright appears from behind a glass wall. He sarcastically informs Damien that Madeline was the ideal body type for a new client and that Anna's organs will not be squandered. Damien becomes enraged and fires a shot into the glass separating them when 2 of Albright's men appear and disarm him. Anton's consciousness will now be transferred to Damien's body. Damien finds a bullet and consumes it without anyone knowing before entering the machine. In the next scene, Anton wakes up in Mark's body. Albright starts interrogating Anton to see whether it's actually him. He sends him on a mission to assassinate Madeline and Anna once he's convinced. When Anton enters the chamber where the mother and kid are staying, he murders the guards and saves the mother and child. Damien had been hiding in Mark's body all along. The 3 of them begin to flee and battle Albright's men. They soon find themselves in a room with a glass wall separating them from Albright. Before the first procedure, Damien tells the doctor that he carefully listened to the instruction. He remembered that if the bodies had metal on them, the change would fail. He managed to stay in Mark's body by eating a bullet. Albright does not believe Damien will kill him because he is the only one who knows how to make the pills. Damien burns the doctor with a torch since Damien knows that Martin cracked the code for making the pills. After escaping the lab, Anna and Madeline travel to a safe location that Martin has arranged for them. Damien, on the other hand, is absent. Instead, he pays a visit to Claire. He takes on the role of her father's buddy and begins to open up. He tells Claire that Damien regrets not spending more time with her when they were kids and that he is proud of her. He then hands her a note and walks away, but not before looking at her one more time from outside the window. Damien then appears to be waking up in a hotel room. He is perplexed, and on a computer, he discovers a video of himself. Damien is no longer inhabiting Mark's body. The billionaire decided to stop taking the drug and hand over control to Mark, giving him back his life. Mark is stunned, but he is grateful beyond words. He then travels to a beautiful tropical island to join Madeline and Anna, who are already residing there. Subscribe and turn on the notifications to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.